Okay, for today's Ask Ron, the question comes from Ivanka from Little Rock, Arkansas. Ron.
Ivanka, hello.
Ron.
Say hello to Clint for me.
Ron, I'm working on an axe deal right now and going through all the forms I will need. In your event manual, Quick Start Real Estate School, Jacksonville, December 2011,
Yep.
It says when selling, I would have to sign an assignment of lease agreement
Yes.
of the same agreement as used when buying from the seller, and also get the general lease document signed.
Yes.
Do I use the same real property possession and lease agreement when buying and selling in the axe deal, or are there different types of lease agreements from both cases, buying versus selling?
Okay. Good question. Even though it's answered in the manual, the lease agreement that I use to install a tenant buyer is the same whether it's an axe deal or whether I'm sandwich leasing it or whether I own it and I'm lease optioning it out to a tenant buyer. That's the real property and possession agreement, the one that's got the table of contents. It's easy for you to spot because it's got that table of contents as soon as you open it up. It's right there in your resource section under forms and agreements, and it's under the control without ownership section. It's also in the other standard real estate agreement, but use the one in control without ownership. So if it has a table of contents on the front, it's the one that I'm using to install the tenant buyer with. Now, if I'm leasing the property, lease optioning from the seller, and I intend to stay in it on a sandwich lease, then that's a totally different agreement I use for the seller. You'll find that one in there as well, and I don't know the exact title on it, but it's a much shorter agreement. There's only two, well actually there's three lease option agreements on the website. There's one for a work for equity program, and that one's under work for equity. And you'd use that if you're installing somebody and make them responsible for all of the work that's got to be done on the property, not the maintenance now. All of these agreements make the tenant buyer responsible for the maintenance after 30 days. But there's a difference between maintenance and somebody's got to move in and do some pretty hefty work on the house. That's the work for equity agreement for my tenant buyer. So if I intend to stay in the deal, I want to use the lease agreement that is does not have the table of contents. If I'm going to get out of the deal, then I will have the seller sign the same lease purchase agreement that I'm going to assign to my tenant buyer, and that's the one with the table of contents in the front. I use that agreement because it protects the seller. So if I'm not going to be in the deal, I'm going to protect the seller the best I can. So that's the one I sign and then I assign. It makes the buyer responsible for all the repairs after 30 days, and it has a late penalty in there and a few other protection devices for the seller. So that's, I know that might have been a little confusing, but again, if it's an axe deal, there's only one agreement. It's the one with the table of contents. That might make it a little simpler. Word of caution though now, you got to make sure that on the page that where you're determining the purchase price, which is in the back of the agreement, that if it's an axe deal especially, make sure you write on the bottom there that the purchase price is the loan balance at the time of closing. Because if not, then the purchase price is whatever the loan balance is the day you buy it. So, in fact, if you got the Quick Start manual, there's a page right in there with this these special paragraphs that apply to that particular axe deal. Just go back and use that. All right, if I didn't confuse you more than help you, I hope that answered your question. If not, just email us and I'll try again.
All right, Ron, we've got another one here from an anonymous person that posted it on our YouTube page.
Anonymous?
Well, it's not anonymous, but the name isn't on here, so.
Well, that makes it anonymous. Okay.
Okay, Ron, is there a best area to invest in real estate? The Midwest, Southwest, East, West, or city or state?
The answer is yes. The best area to invest in real estate is the area where you live, because it really doesn't make any difference where you live. There's tons of opportunity in single-family houses or commercial of all kinds. Now, I'll preface that by saying it kind of depends on my exit strategy, because there's certainly better areas if I'm looking for appreciation. So anywhere you have sun, you're likely going to have appreciation. And then, of course, there's exceptions to that. Places like New York City is always going to appreciate. All of your big major metropolitan areas with all the growth. Wherever there's growth, there's going to be appreciation. And frankly, that's not hard to spot. But listen, what if, look, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a great city. It's probably not the highest appreciating city on the planet, but it ain't too bad. We took our hits like everybody else, but see, if I buy bank-owned properties here, I don't intend to sell them right now, so I'm not banking on appreciation. If I'm buying FSBOs here, I don't have any money in them, and I'm going to get cash now and cash flow now, so I'm not banking on appreciation. So one would have to define to me the definition of what would you consider a good investment that you're looking to do, and then I might be able to target a little more. But truthfully, probably the worst thing you can do is buy properties out of your area if you don't have anybody in that area to watch over them for you. Just stick in your backyard. There's more than you can do, and I don't care where you live. Anywhere in this country, there's plenty of deals for you right in your backyard. And that way you can kick the tires and keep an eye on them and manage your investments better. Investment's a bad word because I don't use my money, so I don't really consider them investments. I consider them gifts. Hope that helps. See you next time. Bye.